7 months after 37-year-old ICU nurse Alex Pretti was fatally shot by federal immigration officers in Minneapolis, his family says they are still waiting for answers. But perhaps the most painful part of the story began before they knew exactly what had happened. They say they didn't receive a direct call telling them Alex had been killed. Instead, members of his family say they learned about his death while watching the shooting unfold on television. Now, months later, Alex's parents, Michael and Susan Pretti, and his sister Michaela have spoken publicly for the first time in a televised interview with Good Morning America, and their message was clear. They want the facts established. They want accountability, and they want to know exactly what happened to Alex. Alex Pretti was 37 years old and worked as an intensive care nurse at the Minneapolis VA healthcare system. He had also previously worked on scientific research at the University of Minnesota. To his family, he wasn't a political symbol or a headline. He was their son, their brother, and according to those who knew him, someone who cared deeply about helping other people. His family described him as a person who cared about his community and believed people should be treated fairly regardless of their background. On January 24, 2026, Alex was in the area of 26th Street and Nicollet Avenue in Minneapolis during Operation Metro Surge, the Trump administration's immigration enforcement operation in Minnesota. What happened next would become the subject of intense public debate and multiple investigations. For Alex's family, the nightmare began with a phone call from someone they didn't know. His sister Michaela recalled that her husband received a call from an unknown number. The caller asked whether they knew an Alex J. Pretti and whether they had heard from him. The caller reportedly said Alex might have been involved in an incident with ICE. At first, Michaela thought it could be a scam. Then she tried calling her brother. His phone went directly to voicemail. The family's concern quickly turned into panic. Susan Pretti said she called Hennepin County Medical Center, but couldn't immediately get confirmation about her son. Then came the moment they say they will never forget. They saw the shooting on television. Michael said the family recognized Alex from his jacket and sunglasses. They were watching their own son on television, and according to Michael, that was how they learned he had been killed. The official account of the encounter became one of the most disputed aspects of the case. In the immediate aftermath, the Department of Homeland Security said Alex approached federal officers with a handgun and violently resisted attempts to disarm him. But videos recorded by bystanders raised questions about that description. According to People's reporting, footage appeared to show Alex holding a cell phone while recording federal officers. The video also appeared to show an officer pushing a woman toward him. Alex appeared to move toward the woman before officers pepper sprayed him and wrestled him to the ground. Alex was legally carrying a handgun and had a permit to do so. Video appeared to show an officer removing the firearm while multiple officers restrained Alex on the ground. Moments later, 2 federal officers opened fire. Alex was shot 10 times. These details remain central to the continuing investigation. The case quickly became a dispute over what happened in those final moments. Federal officials initially portrayed Alex as a serious threat. His family strongly rejected that characterization. They said Alex had gone to the area as an observer rather than as a protester. His father specifically disputed the suggestion that Alex was there to participate in a protest, saying he was observing and using his phone. The difference between those accounts became one of the most important questions surrounding the shooting. What was Alex doing immediately before the officers opened fire? And perhaps even more importantly, did the officers' actions comply with the law? Those are questions investigators must ultimately answer. In the hours and days after Alex's death, several senior Trump administration officials described him as a dangerous threat. Then Border Patrol Commander Gregory Bovino said Alex appeared to want to cause maximum damage and massacre law enforcement. Then Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem described him as having committed an act of domestic terrorism. White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller called Alex an assassin, a characterization that Vice President J.D. Vance reposted. Those statements deeply angered Alex's family. His mother Susan said hearing those descriptions about her son months later remained devastating. For the family, the issue wasn't simply how Alex died.
It was also how he was described afterward. The Justice Department opened a federal civil rights investigation into Alex's death. Reuters reported in January that the investigation could potentially lead to criminal charges against the officers involved, although bringing such charges would require investigators to meet a high legal threshold. The FBI was reported to be leading the federal investigation, with DHS supporting it. Months later, however, Alex's family said they still had limited information about the investigation. Their attorney said they did not know what information investigators had gathered or where the investigation stood. The Department of Homeland Security told ABC News that the matter remained under active investigation, while the FBI declined to comment. For Alex's family, the passage of time hasn't brought closure. They say they are still waiting to learn whether anyone will ultimately be held responsible. Their attorney has argued that the family deserves meaningful communication about the investigation. The federal government, meanwhile, has said communications with family members generally occur at later stages of criminal proceedings, rather than during an active investigation. That disagreement has added another layer to an already painful case. The case has also generated disputes over access to evidence. Reuters reported that Minnesota officials sought access to evidence connected to the shooting, while federal authorities conducted their own investigation. Later, Minnesota prosecutors obtained key evidence related to the investigations into the deaths of Alex Pretti and Renee Good, according to AP. The existence of video footage has also made this case unusual. Rather than relying solely on eyewitness recollections, investigators have access to recordings of portions of the encounter. But video does not automatically answer every legal question. Investigators must determine what happened before, during, and after the shooting, what each officer knew at each moment, and whether their actions were legally justified. For a family that says it first learned of Alex's death by watching television, the search for answers continues. And until the investigations are complete, the central question remains. What really happened in those final moments before Alex Pretti was shot? That question now rests with the investigators examining the evidence. And ultimately, whatever conclusions they reach will determine what comes next. There is still no final legal determination establishing that the officers committed a crime in Alex Pretti's death. The federal civil rights investigation remains active, and the questions surrounding the shooting continue to be examined by investigators and officials. For Alex's parents and sister, however, the waiting has already lasted 7 months. They say they don't want political arguments, they want answers. They want the evidence examined, and they want accountability if wrongdoing is ultimately established. More than 2,000 cards and letters have reportedly been sent to the family since Alex's death. Michael said those messages have provided some comfort, even though nothing can bring Alex back. For a family that says it first learned of Alex's death by watching television, the search for answers continues. And until the investigations are complete, the central question remains. What really happened in those final moments before Alex Pretti was shot? That question now rests with the investigators examining the evidence. And ultimately, whatever conclusions they reach will determine what comes next.